Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me on the Radical series, where today we are going to talk about how to free your current moment from the past influences. Now, life is a journey, and traveling light can make this journey very, very enjoyable. But what do most of us do? Very few of us actually know how to enjoy this journey. Most of us don't actually enjoy the current journey. And why? Because we're always dwelling in the past. So, most of you would be either thinking of the past trauma, the past hurts of rejection, abandonment, or the past guilts, regrets, incompletions. And somewhere you are never able to enjoy the current journey and the current moment. Fair. Now, past is important because past has contributed to your current. And whatever you are today is obviously a lot because of the past. But you need to ask yourself today that if the past emotions, the past hurts, the past beliefs, the conditioning is somewhere not facilitating your growth or is not making your life easy, then don't you think it's time to let it go? Somewhere carrying the impression of the past could be extremely burdensome and somewhere it slows you down. So it's important to ask yourself that why is it so necessary to carry this burden of the past? How is this burden helping you? Isn't it better if you could feel free and free yourself from the undesirable, inhibiting effects of the past and travel absolutely light? Like travel with that faith that whatever you need will be given to you and in an appropriate manner, in an appropriate time. And that kind of, you can live your life with that kind of faith. So choose your baggage because it is you who's somewhere slowing down by carrying that extra baggage. It's like that carrying everything of the past and burdening yourself. So though I'm not giving you time to think whether it is important to let go of that baggage, but hoping that somewhere you agree with me that it is time to move and free yourself from all the past backlog. I am going to share some pointers that if you sincerely work on, you can actually free your current moment. So the first is, which is the simplest of all, is to work with the unresolved emotions. So you could have emotions of whether it is because of some painful experience, it is sadness, it is hurt, it is any form of trauma, it could be anger, it could be any of these emotions. It's important to revive them, recognize them, realign, reorient and reposition them. So the first step is you just need to archive all these emotions so that somewhere you can calm down and you neutralize these emotions, because when you live with these very heavy emotional charges in your life, you're just not letting yourself be free in the moment. The second is working with your, which is like a continuation of the emotions, is to work with your insecurities, your anxieties and your fear of uncertainty. Now what happens is sometimes in the past one of you would have maybe lost their job suddenly, and we've gone through a lot in the last year. Some of you would have had an instant financial loss, and because of that, or because of something that happened years back, you've developed that kind of insecurity or that kind of anxiety or this absolute fear of the unknown outcome. Now, if you carry forward living with that insecurity or that anxiety, somewhere this is going to block the abundance that you are meant to receive or is meant to come to your life. So it is about letting go the past impressions of those past experiences so that they don't influence your present. Another way to work with is to go back to your unresolved stories and then to discover and recognize your unhealthy beliefs. So let me tell you something which is really important. That the past does not necessarily repeat itself unless you allow it to repeat. And how do you allow it to repeat? Somewhere is by carrying on the ill effects and the unhealthy beliefs that were generated in the past. Now let me give you an example. For example, in your college life, you went through a breakup and your partner rejected you. Okay, and you perceived something, and you perceived maybe that you are a rejectable one, and something else again happened after some time, and you have formed a belief that I am a rejectable one. Now you have two choices in your current moment. Either you work with this belief and neutralize it so that it does not affect your current relationship. Or if you carry forward the same unhealthy belief, then even if the relationship is not actually going to break, but because of this belief, you will somewhere manifest the breakup so that you can prove your belief is true that you are the rejectable one. So you need to look into and see if you have the belief that people cannot be trusted, they always abandon you, and you keep carrying these impressions, you're going to manifest that in your current life and in your future too. Or I'll give you an interesting example. I was working with a very dear family member, and she's very talented, very, very hardworking, and she just couldn't understand why was her current moment not according to what she's wanted in terms of abundance and doing well in her career. So when we worked with her, we realized that she had these unhealthy beliefs which she picked up from her childhood, where she saw people who were very rich being attracting jealousy, or she had seen some relatives who had a lot of money but had become then very arrogant, or they indulged into vices. So she somewhere was carrying on this unhealthy belief of money attracts jealousy, money money makes you arrogant, money makes you go into do different vices. Now this unhealthy belief was then somewhere creating a block for her to receive that kind of abundance. So all of you listening to me today need to go back and make a list of all the unhealthy beliefs that have been generated because of past experiences, which are now influencing you adversely in the present moment. So that you can, with Redikall, with certain tools, you can actually neutralize them and free yourself. Another way to work with the past backlog is to work with oaths, vows and curses. So when we need to address the oaths, vows and curses, because sometimes without even consciously knowing, we take a vow or we take an oath, and then those taken in the past can interfere with our current moment. So let me give you an example. And so we had this student who when came to us with this issue that was not getting married. So when we worked with him, we realized that when he was a young boy, he had lost his father, and he took a vow that he would never, it was like an oath really, that he would never ever leave his mother so that he can always be there to take care of her. And when we were working with him, we realized that this was something that without awareness he had taken. And then when he worked with that he realized in his awareness that it's possible to be married and yet be there for the mother and take care of her. So when he worked with that aspect, he was able to actually then move on and settle happily. So that was one aspect. Another aspect is to work with your guilts and regrets. So a lot of us could have guilts of doing things which were not meant to be done, of not doing things maybe that one knew that needs to be done, or regret of doing things. And then when we have these guilts, we set ourselves up for punishment. And this again not necessarily at the conscious level. Now when we set ourselves up for punishment, how do we punish ourselves? We are obviously going to attract difficult situations, adversity, suffering, so that you somewhere punish yourself. So it's important to again work with neutralizing these guilts, which we'll do with R5. And then it's important to forgive yourself. And forgive not only yourself, but if I have to extend this point, it's about forgiving other people who also hurt you. A lot of us somewhere know that there are a lot of people in this world who have hurt us. And it's very difficult to not maybe hate them or not to feel, it's very difficult to feel neutral or to kind of move on. And sometimes it's justifiable that yes, you are angry. But you need to realize that by holding on to that anger, by holding on to that hatred, somewhere you're only damaging your own self. You're only letting all of that heavy energy affect your current moment and not letting you live freely. So for your own self and for your own well-being, it's important to let go and forgive others. I know it is more easy to say and more difficult to do, but think about it. Why do you want all these emotions coming from the past experiences interfere in your daily peace? And the last point that which is essential to work with is to seek completion with all that has happened in the past. And that is only possible if you see the brilliance in everything. Like a lot of you might be using your current relationship to seek completion of the past. So if you couldn't, there was this past and completion in a love relationship and you try and seek it in the new relationship. But let me tell you something, that if you start any relationship, any project, anything from a space of incompletion, you're going to end up with the same. It's like, let me give you a metaphor. If you plant a mango seed on the ground, what are you going to get? A mango tree and more mango seeds? You're never going to get a guava tree, right? Or a guava seed. This is true for your life. So when you start the seed thought, you end with exactly the same seed thought. And it only has multiplied. So it's important to clean and clear your ground before you start your current moment. And even if you have not cleared the ground, you can start by rubbing the impressions of the past relationships. And starting afresh, like rewriting your life. Because you need to understand one thing, that see, every experience of the past is given to you for your learning and for evolution. Fair. And every emotion and experience has a hidden gift and a learning which you think is burdening you, but. So every emotion, every experience, every feeling, every belief somewhere is like a wrapper, which is enveloping a beautiful gift. so that it can allow you to have a beautiful way of life, give you a lot of insight, a lot of awareness and learning. So it's important to somewhere unwrap the wrapper and let that gift be unveiled to you. Let the magic of the gift be unveiled to you instead of resisting it. It's like sometimes we don't want to unveil or open up the wrapper because the wrapper is so ugly that you feel that there could be nothing brilliant inside. But that's where we go wrong. If we keep resisting the wrapper or these ugly experiences, then they not only persist, but they even become more uglier. So the best way to move now ahead is to just go through whatever the experience is and then to discover the brilliance in it. Because somewhere you all deserve to grow beyond and rise beyond the past and the past influences. And each one of you deserve to be free from this past backlog and build an empire of joy, peace, prosperity on absolutely clear ground. So let us somewhere embrace the gift offered by the past and allow the wrapper of these undesirable influences of the past fly off. And let us seek freedom from the past baggage by being a neutral and an aware observer. So let us begin today to start afresh, to rewrite a new story for us. And it is very much possible. And to rewrite a new journey of peace, prosperity, abundance,